All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into the absolute magic of Python tuple unpacking. If you've ever found yourself bogged down by tedious, line-after-line variable assignments, well, you are definitely in for a treat. This is one of those incredibly elegant features guaranteed to make you fall in love with the language all over again. It's a uniquely Pythonic concept that, honestly, once you learn it, you will never want to code without it. So, let's jump right in.
Let's start with a classic programming puzzle, one that routinely haunts C and Java developers. How do you cleanly swap two variables without writing clunky temporary boilerplate code? Just think about that for a second. Usually, you have to juggle your data around, right? Moving it to a safe middle ground before reassigning it. It works, sure, but it's not exactly pretty.
Section 1. The magic of unpacking. Before we reveal the grand trick to solve that puzzle, let's get warmed up. Let's use a tasty masala chai analogy to understand exactly how Python takes apart collections of data. Visually, Python makes this incredibly intuitive. Just look at our masala tuple at the top, containing cardamom, cloves, and cinnamon. Notice how we can assign these directly to A, B, and C, all in one elegant single statement. The parentheses on the left, they're actually optional. Python perfectly pairs the first item to the first variable, the second to the second, and the whole shebang just works. And this brilliantly illustrates how we can do inline packing and unpacking too, as you can see just below with the latitude and longitude coordinates. The right side implicitly creates the tuple, and the left side instantly unpacks it.
Section 2. The Pythonic variable swap. Now for the prestige.
This is the moment where Python's elegance truly shines. Let's see how our newfound knowledge completely eliminates the need for that temporary middleman variable. In older languages, you're forced to use an awkward third variable. You know the drill. Temp equals A equals B equals temp. It takes 3 whole lines of code just to swap 2 values. But Python handles this effortlessly in one breathtaking line. Look at this beautifully simple code. We have a ginger ratio of 2 and a cardamom ratio of 1. By simply typing ginger underscore ratio, cardamom underscore ratio equals cardamom underscore ratio, ginger underscore ratio, we swap the values instantly. Not a single temp variable in sight. When we print it out, the values are perfectly inverted. This isn't just shorter code, it is infinitely more readable. This right here is why we love Python.
Now, you might be wondering, is it actually magic? Well, no. This relies on some very strict, clever logic under the hood. Python evaluates the entire right side of the equal sign first, completely independent of the left. In doing so, it creates a temporary tuple in memory. Once that complete tuple is formed, it then cleanly unpacks it into the variables on the left side.
Looking exactly at how this works behind the scenes, the illusion is just brilliant language design meant to make our coding lives easier. First, Python sees the right side and says, okay, I'm going to create a tuple of 1 and 2. Then it looks at the left side and assigns ginger to 1 and cardamom to 2. It's entirely safe, meaning you never accidentally overwrite your data mid-swap.
Section 3. The catch-all star operator.
But what happens if you have way more items than variables? In basic unpacking, the counts have to match perfectly. Well, enter the ultimate sleight of hand, the extended unpacking star operator. Look at the bottom half of the code here. We have a tuple of numbers 1 through 5, but we only have 2 variables, first and starred rest. By simply placing a star in front of the rest variable, Python acts like a giant net, effortlessly gathering all the remaining unassigned elements. It assigns 1 to first and scoops up 2, 3, 4, and 5 into rest. You can even put the starred variable in the middle to capture the inside elements while neatly assigning the first and last ones.
The crucial detail to remember here is the data types. As this table highlights, the variable first unpacks normally and remains just a single integer, the number 1. But the starred catch-all? It magically returns a list. It is super important to remember that even when you are unpacking a tuple, that starred variable will always return a list of the captured items.
Section 4. Unpacking in the wild. Let's see how this actually applies to your day-to-day code. This isn't just a neat party trick. You can unpack multiple return values directly at the function call site. See our get_order_info function? It implicitly returns a tuple of the t-type, size, and sugar amount. Instead of assigning that to one clunky result variable and indexing it, we just unpack it right into order type, size, and sugar. And if you look down at the bottom, we're actually destructuring customer order tuples cleanly inside a standard for loop. Instead of writing for order and orders and extracting order 0, order 1, we just say for customer, chai, sugar in orders. It literally reads like plain English.
Section 5. Avoiding common unpacking traps.
To keep your code running smoothly, you've got to learn the magician's code and avoid a few common pitfalls. The absolute biggest trap is the mismatch. If you try to unpack 3 items into 2 variables without using a star, Python will immediately throw a value error, complaining there are too many values to unpack. So, rule of thumb, always remember to use your catch-all star operator if you aren't absolutely sure how many items remain.
All right, let's lock in everything we've learned in this explainer with some rapid-fire flashcards. Starting with our absolute favorite one-liner. What does a b equals b a do?
You guessed it, it flawlessly swaps the values of a and b using tuple packing and unpacking. Absolutely no temporary variables needed.
Okay, next question. What exactly does that little star operator do when we unpack in a statement like this?
Yup, it captures all remaining unassigned elements directly into a neatly packaged list. So first becomes 1, and rest becomes the list containing 2, 3, and 4.
Now here's a highly practical one for you. What if a function returns extra data you just don't care about, like the size of a T order, but you still want the other variables?
The proper Pythonic convention here is to use a simple underscore as a throwaway variable name. This basically tells anyone reading your code, hey, I explicitly acknowledge this value exists, but I'm choosing to graciously skip it. And finally, our critical trap. What happens if you try to unpack 3 items into exactly 2 variables, without using a star to catch the rest?
The illusion breaks entirely. Python stops right in its tracks and hits you with a strict value error. But hey, that strictness is a good thing. It ensures your data goes exactly where you expect it to.
And that brings us to the end of our journey into Python tuple unpacking. We've seen how a few simple syntax tweaks can replace multi-line temporary variable headaches with beautiful reading-like English single-line solutions. So with these elegant tricks now firmly up your sleeve, I leave you with this. What clunky boilerplate code of yours are you going to refactor into a beautiful Python one-liner today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy coding!